All right, I got everybody. Okay, good. I'm Josh Collin. I'm president of HRI Communities, which is a new division of HRI focused on the development of affordable and mixed-income housing communities. It's an honor to MC this celebration, given that I've spent the better part of the last 10 years serving as the development project executive on the transformation of the Iberville Public Housing Project into the Bienville Basin community, which is now complete and includes 682 mixed-income apartments and a wealth of extensive amenities that you guys will see as you tour later on in the program. I believe this project goes way beyond just a highly successful public-private partnership. It's really an example of a diverse group of stakeholders coming together to build a community as a community. When I look at the faces gathered today, I see so many friends that have made this day possible. I'm proud of all my coworkers at HRI, HCI, and HRI Management for their accomplishments and hard work here. The collaboration and talent within our HRI organization is evident based on our $3 billion worth of successful revitalization work around the country and our 35-year track record here in our hometown, New Orleans. What I think is unique about Bienville Basin's success is that the spirit of that true collaboration extended beyond just the HRI group and enveloped warmly over our core group of partners, the Iberville Resident Working Team, the Housing Authority of New Orleans, and the City of New Orleans and Urban Strategies. That's really just the heart of our New Orleans Choice Neighborhoods implementation team. It really expanded into the partnership with amazing construction and design partners. You see Landis Construction here today. And that design and construction group literally made this neighborhood. And they did it in a highly inclusionary fashion. They did it with extensive success around Section 3 hiring and training and DBE contracting. And so there's no easy button for that, so I'd like to applaud them for their hard work in those efforts. So this spirit of trust and collaboration and community building extended from New Orleans all the way to Washington, D.C., where the leadership of HUD's Choice Neighborhoods program provided critical guidance and support. So a heartfelt thank you to Mindy Turboff, Lucy Blackburn, and Pamela Lawrence, for just to name a few of the HUD staff members that really, provided all of the guidance and support we needed to get this done. So our first speaker on the program is actually very fortunate to have such an incredible team. So I'd like to welcome Dominique Blum, the General Deputy Assistant Secretary for HUD's Office of Public and Indian Housing. Dominique.
Hello, everyone. It's terrific to be here. First, apologies that our Assistant Secretary, Hunter Kurtz, wasn't able to make it. He did make it to New Orleans. He and I flew in yesterday together. We got on the plane from Washington. Everything was good. We got off the plane in New Orleans. He feels horrible. He says he thinks it's just a cold. Okay, good. He goes to his hotel. I go to my hotel. Right. In the morning, I get a text. He's got the flu. He's been up all night. He feels horrible. He's still in bed now. So he wanted to be here. He actually is here. And again, he gives his regrets that he wasn't able to attend this event because I know he wanted to be here personally. So on behalf of him, on behalf of our HUD field office, led by Cheryl Williams, she was just right there. Where'd she go? There we are. And our Choice Neighborhoods team, Mindy Turbov, I didn't see her, but I see a lot of our Choice team here. So if I can just ask our HUD team in New Orleans as well as our HUD Choice Neighborhoods team just to wave so folks recognize you and the tremendous work that you did. So I'd like to thank the critical partners here who have made this a reality. HUD provided a little bit of money, but we have Keith Cunningham here from the state who provided a lot of the money too. Thank you so much for the work that you did to support this project. We have the governor's office. He and his staff have supported this project throughout the years. Thank you so much to the state. We have, of course, the City of New Orleans, the mayor and her team, who've done terrific work here to support this project. The Housing Authority of New Orleans, right, the backbone of this endeavor, making sure that April Kennedy, all the work that she has done over the years, thank you so much for making this a reality. And our development team, right, led by Tom Leonard with Josh Collin. The two of them together and their entire team have made this a reality. So thank you so much for the work that you have done. And then we have the support of the residents with Esther Shen and her team, ensuring that the residents are fully part of this process and reap the benefits as well. And that leads me to the most important partner in this redevelopment effort, and that's the residents. That's the reason why we do this. We create better housing, better opportunities, better environments and neighborhoods for the residents that lived in Iberville and now in Bienville. So if I can just ask the residents of this community to please stand, I want to recognize the work that you have done for over a decade to make this a reality. So the Choice Neighborhoods program is more than just housing. It's important, but it's about creating community. And you do that by focusing on the people that live in the development and in the neighborhood, making sure that it's the people that are receiving the supports, the supportive services, case management. We're thinking about how can they become more self-sufficient and how can we create better educational opportunities for the children that live here. And it's about the neighborhood. We're creating a thriving place for people who live in this development to be living among a community, a neighborhood that has amenities, that has jobs, that has storefronts that everyone wants to visit. So part of the Choice Neighborhoods money also goes towards neighborhood amenities and improvements. We've funded projects like storefront rehabs, bringing in broadband, bringing in facade improvements, investing in communities, so that it's not just a home, it's a community, it's in the neighborhood. This is just one of 32 Choice Neighborhoods grants that we have provided. This is part of the first round of Choice Neighborhoods grants, and I had the pleasure of coming here in 2012 as we were running the competition. And we thought that there was a lot of good potential here, really good potential. But now looking at what has been created by all of you, this is a jewel. You are to be so proud of what you've created here in what used to be Iberville, which is now Bienville, a place for people to thrive, for people to come, for people to live, to people to enjoy. As part of the Choice Neighborhoods program, we've been able to create more than 16,000 units. Over close to 700 of them are right here in this neighborhood. 5,000 families have been able to receive additional supportive services and educational opportunities for the children across the nation. And we've been able to improve neighborhoods and communities. And we've been able to do that with leveraging $1 of Choice Neighborhoods funds with $7 of everyone else's money. A lot of that money is right here today, and thanks to all the great partners that are up here on this stage. We all have done it together. That's the way that we recreate neighborhoods, create neighborhoods for everybody. And this was a difficult project. This took, I hear a lot of commentary on that, right? It's a hard one. This is the first year of Choice Neighborhoods. We had to figure it out together. It was on-site and off-site. It was 7 different phases. Had to find the money, right? But we all did it. Thanks to your perseverance, thanks to your vision and your commitment. This neighborhood is once again a place that everyone can live, thrive, and be happy. So with that, thank you so much for all that you have done. Today's a day of celebration, and for us to be able to enjoy the beautiful day and the beautiful development in the community that, thanks to all of your efforts, has been created. Thank you so much.
Next, let me extend a deep gratitude to everyone at the Housing Authority of New Orleans that has worked so hard on this transformation over the last 10 years. In addition to April Kennedy, Jennifer Adams, thank you and your whole team for all the partnership. We're looking forward to continuing a long, strong relationship with HANO and are thrilled that Miss Yvette Hester has joined the Housing Authority as Executive Director. While still new to HANO, public housing transformation and great services for residents are nothing new to Ms. Hester. Before we welcome her to the stage, I'd like to call Cassius Pilar, the Chairman of the Board of the Housing Authority of New Orleans, up for a second to say a few words, and actually welcome Ms. Hester. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. When Mayor LaToya Cantrell first took office last year, one of her priorities was to strengthen the Housing Authority as a key partner in achieving her administration's affordable housing goals. One of the small but important things she did is appoint a full board and appoint board members who were professionals and community leaders who have shared a commitment to the mission of public housing. We're here today to celebrate a moment in this project's history. And when Bienville Basin received the Choice Neighborhoods grant, HANO didn't have a locally appointed board at all. In fact, we hadn't had a locally appointed board for more than 15 years at that point. And I bring that up only to highlight how far we've come, indeed, how far we've had to come to get to this point. So I'd like to ask the HANO board members who are here to stand up. I know we have a couple, Commissioner Jasper, Commissioner Johnson, Commissioner Joseph. Thank you all for being here. And did anybody see the LSU game last weekend? Well, it was a big deal, and if you missed it, the takeaway is that Alabama lost and Louisiana won. And I say that because Louisiana also won in September when the executive director of the Montgomery, Alabama Housing Authority decided to take her talents to South Louisiana and join us here in New Orleans. We're glad to have her. The Housing Authority Board, folks who just stood up, we spent 6 months this year doing a comprehensive, thorough national search for an executive director. We did that in partnership with the mayor's office, with a search consultant, nationally recognized search consultant, Gans & Gans, many of you may know. But we compiled a list of a candidate pool that was exceptional, diverse, experienced, respected. But that does not mean that we had a hard decision to make. The HANO board is not always in agreement, but we were unanimous that we were going to do whatever was necessary to bring Ms. Hester here to New Orleans. And I'm glad to be able to welcome her for the first time for me anyway, welcome her and introduce her as the Executive Director of the Housing Authority of New Orleans. Thank you.
Good afternoon. It's good to be in New Orleans. I am now officially a Saints fan. Who dat? On behalf of the Board of Commissioners, the staff, the former, the current residents of this community, thank you for celebrating a tremendous milestone successfully achieved through federal, state, and local partnerships. I am Yvette Hester, the Executive Director of the Housing Authority of New Orleans. And although I've been on this job for 1 month, I already feel like a part of the family. I must say, it's good to step into a job, be recognized, and showcased as a national model. I think that's never going to happen again in my career. I want to thank a lot of people on the stage. First, I would like to thank HUD, Assistant Secretary R. Hunter Kurtz, who's not able to be here due to illness. I was ill last week, so I sympathized with him. General Deputy Assistant Secretary Dominique Blum, who you heard from, and the entire HUD team, past and present. I want to thank them for one, prioritizing the need for healthy, sustainable, and affordable housing through the Choice Neighborhoods Initiative. And 2, awarding the resources that served as an important catalyst to jumpstart this project. Funding of this caliber definitely planted the seed that was essential to leveraging millions of dollars to kickstart the transformation that affected this entire neighborhood. It also allowed us to provide the necessary wraparound services for our residents and the community, now being managed by Urban Strategies, a key partner. This project represents $250 million of investment in this community, in this city, and for our residents. And I want to applaud all of our funders for putting the money in the plate, as they say in church. I want to do a special shout out and thank you to Mayor LaToya Cantrell. She is a trailblazer, a true champion of affordable housing, and an authentic leader. I would also like to thank Ellen Lee, the Director of Community and Economic Development for New Orleans, and Marjoriana Willman, Director of Housing Policy and Community Development. I was scared I was going to mess up these titles, but did I get it right? Okay. I appreciate their guidance, their wisdom, their counsel, their leadership, and everything they've done in seeing this project through. Thank you, Council Member Kristen Palmer, and the entire New Orleans City Council for their valued input into this project. I want to thank Governor Bell Edwards and the money people, Pat Forbes and Keith Cunningham. Thank you so much. Now, I'm going to digress here for a minute. When I was in Montgomery, Alabama, I would attend the city council working sessions. And I remember attending one particular session where I needed some resources. And when I walked in the room, they weren't expecting me to be there. And I saw the Director of Finance, Barry Crabb, whisper over his shoulder, "What is the vet doing here?" And then he whispered, "Y'all better hold on to your wallets." Finally, I want to give a special thanks to the residents of Iberville for their input, support, and redeveloping their community. I believe some of them are here today and they already stood up, so I won't ask you to do that again. Our residents stepped up to the plate and helped design a community that would complement the surrounding neighborhood by insisting on respecting the architecture, the heritage, and the culture. Hats off to you. Well, maybe not today, but any other day, hats off to you. They also led a very extensive grassroots movement that included many stakeholders. And I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the hard work and commitment of HANO's former administrators, David Gilmore and my friend Greg Fordner, who calls me a flight risk, for conceptualizing the vision and steership to make it happen. These partnerships are necessary to ensure the success of our common goal, building and maintaining sustainable, affordable housing. In 2011, HANO began that journey of transforming the old Iberville public housing community. In the beginning, as Jar stated, there was a working team that was established called the Iberville Working Team. It was an assembly of collaborative partners that had unmatched synergy and creative energy. From day one, it included the City of New Orleans, HUD, HRI, MBS, Urban Strategies, and of course the residents of Iberville. They were all at the table, from what I understand. And Josh said it was a kumbaya moment, most of the time. You see, the former Iberville community was once isolated, even though it was only steps away from the world-renowned French Quarter. Now it has become the crown jewel of this area. It has been reintegrated seamlessly and effortlessly. The new community, now named, I gotta get this right, Bienville Basin, is now this highly desirable place to live, to work, to stay, and to play. It fosters an environment that restores dignity and respect to affordable housing and the people who live in affordable housing. This community now has 682 new housing units with amenities, close to transit lines, fitness centers, outdoor green space, community garden, barbecuing, places for to promote youth development, and many more amenities that you'll get to see during your tour. Folks, this is just one of the flagship properties that HANO and its partners has developed over the years. It is a testament of our collective commitment and promise to our mission and our community. And there's more to come. Stay tuned. Again, we are honored to be showcased as a national model and are excited to cut that ribbon today. And as you visit and tour the site, I want you to remember that it does carry an abundance of history. Thank you very much.
The role that the City of New Orleans played in this project's success as a co-grantee cannot be understated. When you build a 10-block neighborhood, including reintegrating an historic street grid and incorporating brand new infrastructure and featuring newly created stormwater management requirements, you touch quite a few city departments, let me tell you. So HRI is very grateful for the hard work of all of those groups, the City Planning Commission staff, HDLC, Public Works, Safety and Permits, Industrial Development Board, Office of Community Development. All of those groups had thoughtful collaboration touch points to make this project what it is. With so many moving parts, we were very fortunate to have a strong leader in Ellen Lee that could always keep us on the right path and get us moving in the right direction and help us get through a lot of those processes. So, Ellen, thank you for the partnership. Please come up and say a few words.
Josh is very kind. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. My name is Ellen Lee. I serve as Director of Community and Economic Development for Mayor LaToya Cantrell. And I'm really here representing her. She is really sorry that she could not join us this morning to celebrate this wonderful achievement. Now, this is New Orleans, and so I know there's a celebration coming soon, so I'm going to be brief in my remarks so that we can get to the celebration that is coming. You've heard all of the thanks to the partners who are here, and of course we want to echo those thanks and those partnerships. You know, it's one thing to collaborate with people, it's another to have partnerships with people. And through this Choice Neighborhoods initiative, we've experienced true and deep partnerships, starting with HUD, so thank you all, HUD, continuing with the state, so Pat Forbes, Keith Cunningham at the LHC, I know there were some LHC board members here as well, our Housing Authority, and their great staff and committed staff. I see some members of the city's team here, so I want to thank the city's team here for their commitment. And of course, our development partners, our developer partners, you know, for their commitment to delivering on their promise to HANO, to HUD, to the city, and really to this neighborhood and to the residents. It would not be possible, we would not be standing here without that deep commitment. And of course, as everyone has said, finally, a huge thanks to the residents of Bienville Basin, the former residents, the present residents, and the future residents. We do this work on your behalf. Mayor Cantrell is deeply committed to affordable housing, quality affordable housing. She is deeply committed to meeting people where they are, to making sure that, as she says, that our people have the kind of quality of life that they so richly deserve. And so we want to thank you for staying the course and believing that we actually would get here. There's lots more work to do, and we're continuing to be committed to get it done. So thank you all.
Thank you, Ellen. Our next speaker, Councilmember Kristen Palmer, served 2 separate tours of duty on this revitalization effort. She was in office at the time the team was preparing the Choice Neighborhood Grant application and provided extensive policy help and also assisted with all of our outreach efforts as we went and had town meeting style hall meetings in literally every corner of the 1.75 square mile neighborhood that is our Choice neighborhood. And now in her second term, she's been instrumental in supporting the completed neighborhood's residents and business owners as we continue to work to make sure the revitalization touches all of the neighboring blocks. So with that, please welcome Councilmember Palmer.
Good afternoon. Well, I didn't think I was going to speak, so I'm going to be really quick. But it's kind of cool to be here because I was here to cut the ribbon when it started, and I took a little hiatus, and I'm back to be here when it opens. And I just want to take us back a little bit because I didn't think it was going to happen. Rochelle? I was highly skeptical, and I'll tell you why. We did not have a good track record as a city dealing with public housing. This place did not look good. We had so many vacancies in Iberville. Do y'all remember that? Because of the substandard quality, that it was almost easy to move things around and make sure that we wouldn't have to dislocate folks during this whole process. And I was skeptical because y'all remember community engagement was just checking a box, but it wasn't really thoughtful. So when everybody came in, remember City Hall, and all the different, HRI was there, and the offsite development insight, and the residents were there, and I made banana bread, because I wanted to remember that? I wanted to make sure we also got off to a good start, that they actually listened. And then we got in my truck, remember that, Rochelle? Because we wanted to talk about how we want this to look, and we started driving around different neighborhoods to see how the residents wanted the community to look. So it was an amazing process to be part of. I'm really, really thankful that it worked. And when you look at, I was reading this list of all the development highlights, but all of these lists and these highlights came from the residents. They wanted an integrated community. They wanted to make sure our streetscape was placed back in. They wanted to make sure some of the old architecture was rehabbed to fit back into the community. They wanted to be reflective of them in the city of New Orleans. And that's why this really worked. And so I just say hats off. It's remarkable. Also, remember who was here was Sean Donovan, the HUD secretary. We had so many amazing partners from the feds on down to make this thing work and to uplift everybody, that it really was a remarkable project. And I just really hope that this project is really done throughout the country and is continuing to be an example in the city. Because trust me, I was just ushering through another affordable housing project in Bywater that's going to be really important for our community. But because it didn't start in the neighborhood and was a top-down approach, that's what caused the friction. We wouldn't have had the friction if it was a Choice neighborhood project like it is here. And look around. This is how a successful project should look, right? And so I just want to thank all of you for doing this the right way and for listening to the residents who are just wonderful to work with. Thank you.
So collaboration, teamwork, process, those are all very important, will get you really far. But you can't get it done without dollars. So I see here our friends with US Bank here today. We provided $153 million in tax credit equity and construction loans. And our long-term partners with HRI and HANO committed to the success of this community. So thank you, US Bank. Thank you for believing in the revitalization vision. That private investment, obviously, though, would not have been possible without the funding from HUD and HANO and the City of New Orleans, who were all financial partners right from the get-go. The state of Louisiana and how they showed up and the extent they've participated and fostered this process was a little bit of a blessing and a touch of a surprise in the extent of it. So not only did the Louisiana Housing Corporation and State Office of Community Development help, but our Department of Historic Preservation and CRT really came through with all the historic tax credits through the restoration of our existing And then we got a second line band, the One Mind Brass Band, fantastic brass band that's going to lead us on a second line that's going to kick off our tour. If you got a program, you've got one of 4 colors on the back, or we might try to break you guys into groups, but and hit different tour stops, but it should feel pretty organic too. So come on outside and let's cut some ribbon.
Where else can we go?